Erase COVID-19. No one was adequately prepared for the huge costs that this national quarantine and business shutdown are going to impose upon us all. This is the new normal. Every day you hear news about yet another business that is going to be slammed. Can you think of any business that won't be impacted? It seems to me that almost every business will be changed, at least for a while. Hoover, Roosevelt, Nixon, Carter, Trump. The conventional playbook for an administration caught in an unforeseen situation has always been to have the Federal Reserve create extra money to spend or distribute. Remember, a dollar is nothing more than a Federal Reserve note, so adding debt to create money is no problem. If the Fed doesn't create enough money, a deflationary contraction and depression will result when everyone has to cut expenses. Everyone wants to avoid that. But if the Fed creates too much money, an inflationary spiral will result, and that dilutes the value of your cash and savings. That happened in the 1970s, and it took 21% interest rates to stop it. In this video, I will show you yet another alternative and explain how and why preventing the predicted 2020 economic depression could be like performing an organ transplant, where you remove the damaged organ and replace it with one that works. Follow the transplant with anti-rejection medicine, and you have saved a life. Sound good? Let's get started. How to prevent the predicted 2020 economic depression. When the Great Depression of the 1930s happened, the word modern meant railroads, adding machines, newspapers, telegraphs, typewriters, and telephones, and handwritten accounting. That was 90 years ago. Everything is now connected by global supply chains, international travel, and most importantly, by the internet. Businesses all run on digital accounting systems, from QuickBooks to SAP. Payrolls run on software or are processed by expert service companies like ADP or Paychex. Accounting companies and CPAs audit all accounting records, from international corporations' annual reports to individual tax returns. Bank accounting systems track the flow of every dollar in every account. The Federal Reserve Bank regulates and supervises all the banks. Our collective accounting trail is like an incredibly detailed movie. I have a bold idea to offer. My idea comes from how we handle essential banks or businesses that we want to preserve when they are caught with too many bad loans or weak subsidiaries that are failing. To save the whole bank or business, we separate and isolate the troubled assets and move them into a workout company. After those problems are removed, the essential bank or business is able to operate normally again. Well, let's take that concept a step further. My bold idea. Let's erase and reset all our accounting records for the COVID-19 pandemic period. Let's get all our best and brightest business and accounting experts together from business and academia. Let's have them determine the best way to isolate and delete the accounting that is occurring during the pandemic from the entire U.S. banking and business system. On an agreed date, when it's safe to go back to work, let's reset the entire U.S. accounting system. All the accounting that happened during the pandemic would be frozen, removed, and archived. Those archived pandemic records would be immediately replaced with normalized historical transactions from the same period last year. Result: no depression. Everyone would have about the same amount of money they had last year. Everyone could afford to be the same consumer they were last year. Small businesses could reopen with the same assets they had last year. Big businesses could begin delivering products and services at normal volumes. Life could return to normal. Now, the reason you need the best and the brightest experts to prepare for this is that there will be some really big and essential businesses that will have to wait for demand in order to recover. I'm talking about airlines, hotels, professional sports, and similar businesses. I'm talking about chain restaurants, home builders, and manufacturers like Boeing and GM, Ford, and Chrysler. The list could be extensive. But let's let the accounting experts determine how the restorations for those businesses should be phased and how to reach the maximum recovery possible. Listen, we lead the world in accounting science. We have the biggest economy and we set the rules. We develop the accounting technology. We push innovation throughout the entire system. The rest of the world follows our lead. The accounting solution we design and implement here can be utilized in all our allied countries, trading partners, and maybe throughout the world. The intent is not to give any advantage, nor to take any. The intent is to stop and prevent a potentially fatal blow to our international civilization and our worldwide supply chain. Worldwide, the future of 7 billion lives hangs in the balance. This accounting reset would be life-saving surgery for our economic lives. The vast majority of us would not have to suffer through a depression or worse. As I said, our collective accounting records are like an incredibly detailed movie. All we have to do is cut out a bad scene and replace it with a good one. There is no one here in our civilization but we human beings. We make our own accounting rules and our economic rules. We can be creative and unite for the greater good this time. Thank you very much for your time.